It's time for Sustainable Living with Glenn Boblitz, the show that helps you be prepared to care for your family regardless of the circumstances that may come your way. Now, here's your host for today, Mark Lamb.
Well, we're finally back. Happy New Year from us here at Doc Rock and, of course, Glenn Boblitz from Sustainable Living Made Easy.
Good morning.
Lots happened since we both sat down in the studio. We didn't have a snowmageddon, but we did have a couple of snow showers and people without power.
Darn ice. That's what got most people,
Yeah.
A little bit of power went out, and I think there was 64,000 people in the Lynchburg area that went down in Campbell County especially.
Yeah.
One of the guys I work with had to come to his rescue a little bit, and I was fortunate enough to have what he needed, and we got him back up and running so he wouldn't freeze to death.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I texted you, ironically, and said, are you without power? And you said, do you know who you're texting?
Yeah.
I'm Apocalypse Man.
I've seen how crap happens, and
Right.
I didn't like it, so I got prepared for it. And that's what we're doing here at this show, is trying to get you prepared for just normal life.
Yeah.
And if something worse happens, you'll still be prepared for it, because you're going to take care of the critical things that you need: food,
Right.
shelter, water, heat.
Yeah, heat.
Heat.
especially right
Well,
now.
that's been a challenge in the teens now for week and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank goodness for the wood stoves,
Yeah.
Seen a lot of wood stoves puffing around the neighborhood,
Yeah.
and that's a good thing.
Yeah, sure. But that's not why we're here today. You've
No.
got a pretty serious topic at hand.
Well, it's not the whole topic, but I do want to tell everybody.
Yeah.
We did a show on EMPs and solar flares and the damage, especially the solar flares, of what they can do. We've been fortunate that we haven't been hit hard. 1800s had the Carrington effect, which, because electricity was not in every home, it was mostly just telegraph that got hurt.
Okay, right.
But it wiped out our telegraph.
How about that? Did not know that.
It collects on the phone lines and the telegraph lines and come in and burnt up thousands of stations. Well, we're a little more susceptible nowadays. The solar maximum, and that is the point at which the sun becomes its most active, is here. And right now the sun has a giant hole showing up in its surface. Now, when that hole closes up, it's probably going to do something pretty ugly. Some of those misses, some of us get hit with a little bit of radio waves. It disrupts communications. A couple things may get burnt out, depending on how hard we get hit. Well, this darn thing is pointing directly at us. We haven't had that in a long time.
Wow.
This has potential to be an 1800 style Carrington effect.
Okay.
Now, if that happens, we're going to lose a lot of electronics, folks. Doesn't sound too serious. You go, I may get my phone, may get the...
Now, when you say lose, are you talking about
I'm
a
talking
boom?
fried.
Oh, cooked it. Wow.
What it is like a balloon that's been rubbed on your head, or you drag your feet across a carpet and you get a spark, right?
Right.
Well, imagine the whole universe just drug its feet across the carpet and it's going to zap us. It's going to hurt like crazy. And what it does is sends those electricity in the form of radio waves through the air, hits the earth, and collects on anything metallic, anything. And all your electronics are metallic. All the controls that run the world are metallic.
All right, I got a question for you. What about, does that affect the satellites that are in orbit?
Yeah, if they're in the way that it is.
Wow.
Because it'll collect on those too, because they're metallic.
Right.
So there is ways to protect some of your electronics, called a Faraday cage. You might want to get online and see how that's done. Some people use a metal trash can, but nothing inside the trash can can touch, or else it conducts that electricity right to it, and that kind of defeated the whole purpose. So line the inside of the trash can, tape it all up, and hope for the best. Now, a Faraday cage, no matter how good it is only good as the strength of the solar flare.
Okay.
This one may be bigger than we've ever seen. It has that potential.
Okay.
Anyway, go online, figure out what a solar flare is, the different classes of solar flares, all the way up to X class, and they have all kinds of graphs and things. Try to get a grasp of it and watch for the information that's being sent out. There's several online places you can go to monitor this. Pick one and keep up with it. It usually takes three days, depending on strength, though. It's about 3 days to really hit us, these radio waves coming through space. Sun's pretty far away, but if it shoots off a really hard, fast one, it could hit us fairly quickly. So I'm waiting for that same information, so here we are.
Well, boy, and I got to ask you, I hate to even ask you, our government's probably not prepared for this either, is it?
No one's going to be prepared for this.
Okay.
You can't really stop it. You can limit its damage according to what you've known in the past.
Right.
What if this is something that is unknown and is bigger than we've ever seen? It's possible, because I've never seen this. You need to look at the what the sun looks like today. It has a giant hole in it that tends to make these huge solar flares. If that ain't scary enough, I don't know what is, but just be prepared. If you got some electronics you want to protect, today may be the day. There's quick and simple things you can do. Go online and check it out. I don't know where you would get a Faraday bag, a Mylar Faraday bag this quickly. Probably should have listened to my shows last time. But the trash can method you can do.
Right.
Again, it has to have a liner in it, a cardboard liner, anything that your electronics won't touch the metal, because you've defeated the purpose otherwise. Eventually, the electricity it's going to send into the ground and will dissipate. But that depends on how many electrons is in the air, how much static is in the air.
What's
on
it going to do to
Earth,
people
when the
like
static builds up, a lightning bolt takes care of it.
Okay.
Comes down
Yeah.
the ground discharge. Okay, that's
Right.
how this is working. Only this is a universal size lightning bolt coming at us. It's just not in the form of plasma. It's a bunch of electrons flying at us pretty hard. It's electricity and a whole lot of other radio waves, including X-rays.
Well, I'm thinking about, like, people have pacemakers and those kinds of things.
Yeah, I didn't want to go there, but you
Okay.
did, and there
Well,
you are.
I'm just thinking,
if it's electronics,
It's-
it has the ability to be affected by this.
sure. Okay.
Radio, we're sitting there talking into a microphone going, wow, if we don't unplug this, maybe it'll all fry. But it has potential to have sparks jump out of your receptacles. That's how bad it is, because it's going to hit these all electric lines that are connected, and they are all connected.
Right.
They're going to act like an antenna and draw it all in. Well, they're all looking for ground. Your house has a ground rod. So it's going to want to come to your house, everybody's house.
Yeah.
So it's going to come through your electrical lines. I'm seriously considering just shutting my house down. Just, throw the switch. I don't want to be connected. But that may not even work, because if the static is strong enough, it'll just jump arc anyway.
Right.
Everybody's seen these electric lines, how that giant 6-foot arc. Well, okay, my little breaker is only a half-inch away from the comm
The main
bars.
line, right.
And but it's what I can do. Hopefully none of this will happen.
Yeah. Are there
I'm not so stupid to know that it hasn't happened before.
Sure.
So keep that in mind.
And there's no warning per se, correct? Or
Well, I'm warning you right now, and if depending on the strength of this thing, you may have as much as 3 days, or we may have as much as 12 hours.
Okay.
So get online, monitor the progress of what this sun is doing right now, and there's several websites that you can do that on.
Okay.
And that's about as much bad news as I want to dump on people today.
Well, I'm looking at a Faraday bag, and it's like when you get, let's just say you're getting some RAM for your computer. It typically comes in one of these bags. It looks like a
Correct.
piece. It's an aluminum foil type bag.
Correct. It's a Mylar type bag, yes.
Right.
And what's important about Mylar is it's magnetic. Mm-hmm. And that's what you have to have or should have.
Sort of bounces
yeah,
off of
well, no, it collects on the outside of it.
Not okay.
Kind
not
of like
what's
an
on the
umbrella.
inside. Okay.
Aluminum doesn't do as well because it's magnetic waves. Magnetics has to do with iron. Mm-hmm. And that's why it'll get rid of electrons because the Earth's core is made of iron predominantly.
Right.
So it goes to ground there.
I'm just wondering what it would do to just people in general. And forget the pacemaker, because don't we sort of conduct electricity?
It'll have an effect. Your
know?
hair is going to stand up.
Right.
You will feel the hair on your arm stand up if it's that strong. If it's
And
that
nobody's going to
strong
take
glow
pictures of it because your phones are going to get zapped.
Yeah, well, your camera's going to fry.
All right.
Because it's electronics now, too. All those megapixels will mega melt.
His just gives a list on this one website. Failure to the electric grid, laptops, cell phones, walkie-talkies, AM/FM radios, memory devices,
Cars.
like a USB. Yeah, it doesn't even mention cars here, but because everything's got computer chips in it.
And it'll be generations before it got fixed. 1/3 of the Earth, it could be affected. 1/3, whatever's facing the sun at the time
Right.
this thing slams,
Yeah,
could be affected. That's a pretty big chunk.
yeah, it is.
I mean, if it wasn't for our atmosphere, it already happened. So, but it pushes the atmosphere away and plows right on through.
It does. Okay.
Right.
Almost like what you see in the movies with
In
like
the-
a satellite that shoots a beam or
Yeah.
whatever.
It's here, and they didn't know it was going to be this bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all talking. We've never seen the whole.
And these are scientists, I assume,
Oh,
that are
yeah.
just people that study this stuff all day long. Like
You
hammer a nail, they study this stuff.
when you have a CME and it's called a coronal mass ejection, it's a little bubble on the Earth's surface that rises up and plasma shoots out. Well, that electrical plasma is what sends that solar flare. This is not only a bubble, it is a giant rip all the way across the sun. I've never seen that, and I don't think that they know what's going to happen when that rip slams back closed.
Right.
They know that the Earth, the magnetic poles of the sun flip sometimes. They're just not sure how that affects us. Mm-hmm. We're going to find out, I suppose.
I mean, we're all going to be in this. In some ways, we're all going to be in the same boat, except for those that are kind of ready for something like this.
Yeah, it's going to put you in the dark.
Right.
We've talked about all this stuff, and we talk about economic collapse and all that kind of stuff. But if you're prepared for those kind of things, you can get through this. Mm-hmm. The only issue I see is the grid is not going to come back up nowhere near as fast because it is damaged.
Right.
It's not
Yeah, it's not like-
economics.
right,
It's
right.
not idiots in office.
Right.
This is just a natural occurrence on a mega scale.
Right.
So,
Well, I hate.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
But regardless, even so, Lord, come quickly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some people, this whole wildfire thing in California.
Yeah,
That is-
that's a whole nother story, and it's a dang coincidence that the new rail line follows the same pattern as the fire line.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
And wonder who owns the new rail line that's coming through? That'd be BlackRock.
Man.
Be a bunch of cheap property available.
Sure.
And that's your conspiracy for today.
Only one?
Only one? No. You want to do the whole show?
No,
We got them.
no.
Me neither. I don't like them neither.
I will tell you this, though. The people are drawing parallels to the silliness
Well, they're
set
saying
at the
this
Golden...
is too many coincidences. That's what they're saying.
Well, this
now
is-
I don't believe anything they say.
Right. Well, the Golden Globes, which I didn't watch, but a lady, was mocking God, and she said, well, okay, 3 producers have been thanked tonight, 5 moms and dads, and God's got a big 0. Nobody thanking God tonight. And then she made a comment of, well, you guys are on fire tonight. This all is like a day before all what breaks loose on L.A. And people are going, I don't know, coincidence? Maybe not. And then they got people keep God out of California holding up posters, know, and I mean, there's a lot of good people across the spectrum in California, and you wouldn't want anyone to suffer this kind of loss. I mean, these houses, I didn't see anything. I really can't watch this stuff. I did hear some of it on radio and a guy being interviewed, and it sounded like the house exploded because it did. The fire was so intense, the house just exploded.
Flash over.
Yeah. It's just, man, I just can't fathom it.
Yeah, and it's into L.A. pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And
did not know about the railway, though.
Yeah. I forgot where one of the stations had a clip on it, and I was like, son of a gun. Well, could be.
Let's look at this just for a second. Let's say there is a catastrophe, and then there is this solar flash at the same time. Now you don't have vehicles, and nothing's going to work. You're not going to have a fire hydrant working, even if you had the water.
We're going to be in the 1800s immediately.
Right. Yeah. Boom.
And we are not the nicest animal on the planet.
Right.
And I'm afraid we've lost our empathy towards our fellow man.
Sure.
Though our little group is trying to build that, and I've been hammering on it for a while.
Right.
To make this inner circle connection that you can count on.
Sure.
There was a time when all communities counted on each other.
Yeah.
Because it was so hard. In the 1800s, you had to be communal, or you wouldn't make it, because you can't have all those skills, all that equipment, all those tools.
Right.
So they depended on that, and that's how they built civilization, is through a cooperative effort.
Right.
We don't have that cooperative effort. We have a convenience effort.
Yes.
We can go and get what we want. We don't have to have the blacksmith make it.
Right.
Well, that's how far back we'll be knocked without electronics, without the grid.
Yeah. Well, on that positive note, let's take a break, and then we'll come back and talk about some things to put in place, whether it's a snowstorm or a solar flash. And let's talk maybe a little bit, too, about some of those building blocks, like you said, that help build the society, which, people, you're not going to be looking down at your phone, because your phone ain't going to work.
Amen.
It's if you've got some music on it, whatever battery life you have left, that's what you got. And then it's just another, as the Pink Floyd said, another brick in the wall. It's going to be useless at this point. We're talking to Glenn Baublitz. It's our first 2025 broadcast. A tough one, but a much-needed one.
Get ready for a new soundtrack for your life. Doc Rock, Smith Mountain Lake. It's music that'll take away your troubles for a while.
That's what I'm talking about!
Wake up with Janet and Mark on the Morning Jam. They'll keep you informed and encouraged, and we all need more of that.
You say jam?
You're invited to be a part of the Doc Rock family, your feel-good station. Doc Rock, Smith Mountain Lake.
We're back with more Sustainable Living with Glenn Baublitz. Be sure to look for Sustainable Living on Facebook for even more information and follow-up conversations with other members. Now, here's your host, Mark Lamb.
All right, Glenn. So when we took a break there, we were talking about how society originally was built, civilization, and how we've gone away from that. And it's the convenience. I'm holding up my phone. The convenience of this little guy and Amazon and a few other things. I don't need anybody else.
Right. We started out at craftsmen with skills, which provided services.
Right.
And farming, agriculture. We've pretty much gotten away from that kind of thing, with the exception of manufacturing now. You know, the industrial age changed everything. So we're dependent on somebody we do not know to provide us the services and products that we need. Need.
Yeah, need to survive.
Need.
Right.
That's bad. That makes you vulnerable. And not that they have something nefarious going on. I shouldn't have laughed at that. But at any rate, it's just the way we have became a civilized, that's another oxymoron, civilized society and industrial, where you don't have to work as hard. Well, that's the biggest falsehood of all. You should continue to work hard to make things better, to improve the quality of life. I don't think we do that enough. I think we improve the quality of our bank accounts rather than life. And I ain't throwing rocks at anybody. I mean, but a little more simplistic life seems to produce happier people. So here we are.
Yeah.
So some of the things that we need to look at is priorities. You know, what do you actually need to make it through a terrible catastrophe or just the storms of life? You need that water. You know, if you don't have that, you only have a few days left.
Right.
You need air. Okay, a few minutes and you'll figure out air is pretty important. You're going to need some food, and you're going to need shelter, whether it's shelter from the summer or shelter from the winter. It doesn't matter. You're going to need some type of shelter, which equates to heat or cooling of some type, even if it's at the creek. So if you have a backup plan for those, well, let's say that the backup plan for our community, our civilization gets messed up, like an EMP or like a solar flare that takes out a lot of stuff. How are we going to replace that?
Right.
Well, that's what I've been trying to tell you, to be sustainable. Be sustainable and hard to kill. Yeah. You know, life will try to kill you if you're not careful. I'm not saying that we live in a dangerous neighborhood here. It's just things happen. Well, the food intake we've been getting is not real safe for us, and we've been lied to so much about it, and I decided I didn't want it anymore. So I grew my own. Okay, well, I'm just one of a few, but I'm trying to spread that for you. I'm trying to get you to the point where you can grow your own food, butcher your own meats, preserve all this food. That's what it's going to take, and be able to get clean drinking water. I heard a statistic on China. They only have like 2% of their water is actually drinkable.
Really?
2%.
Wow.
And they got a lot of water, but it's so polluted.
Yeah, and they got a lot of
agricultural pollution too, not just industrial pollution.
Yeah.
And that's hard to fathom. I mean, how can the world not have clean water? Because we've ruined it.
Yeah.
You know, we built sewer treatment plants on rivers. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard of.
Yeah, I know.
At any rate, back to water. You need a way to get water out of the ground. If you've got a well, and this grid does go down, you're going to be a popular person if you can get it out.
Yeah, if you can get it out, right.
You know, there's an electric motor hooked to the end of that pipe. Can you generate enough power to get it out that way, or do you have a old-timey mechanical way to get it out, the old hand pumps?
Yeah.
It may be a little late, but I'd be thinking about that and start asking around who has that, especially on your inner circle. So if we want to survive this, to figure out how we can get through it without, pulling our hair out. Sure hope you listen to a lot of our shows.
Yeah.
I really do. And if you have not, you pray harder and start researching it. They're online. Find them. Start checking them out.
Right.
That's an ugly show, isn't it?
Well,
but I didn't do it.
Right.
You know, no one did this to us. If we get hit by a solar flare and it wipes us out, no one did that. So now what?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to count on your circle, your inner circle, your outer circle, into the barter and trade.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same. Money is not going to mean a darn thing.
True.
And I thought of this during the break. Bitcoin's going to go away,
Yeah. True.
and nobody is going to know where it went because it's going to get fried.
Yeah.
Even in a cold wallet, you know what a cold wallet is? Never having your information on their website or their
Oh, okay.
and you download it on a thumb drive and you put it in a safe place, a little electronic thumb drive.
Mm-hmm.
A little electronic thumb drive,
Yeah.
and your cold wallet is gone.
Right.
It's empty. It's burnt.
Sure.
Well, that's going to hurt a lot of people's feelings.
Oh, that's true.
Well,
and what better way for the government, because they'll be the ones that get their we've got to get the government running, and now we're going to have to do everything. Just think about what they did to you at COVID.
Yeah.
They're going to probably, that's where they're going to want to chip you or something if once they get it all fixed.
Yeah. Don't worry about them coming to get you, because there's not going to be a GPS. You know, they couldn't find their way out of Washington without that GPS.
Well, true.
So anybody can read a map, you're way ahead of them.
Well, I think local government's going to be key.
Local government's probably going to tell the state to stick it in their ear.
Right.
And they'll start gathering up resourceful people and say, how can we help?
Yeah.
Because they can't do it through force. Because they need us.
Yeah, they do.
They need us to pull together,
Yeah.
especially skilled people.
Yes.
Anybody with any kind of older resources, you know, horse and plow, holy cow.
Right. Yeah.
Because my rototiller's not going to work.
Sure.
You know, no gas, you can't get gas anywhere.
Sure.
All those good things. But regardless of that, it'll be, you will find out who your friends really are.
Yeah.
And people will step up. There will be people that
There's
you
gonna be
didn't
heroes.
know
There'll be
step
heroes.
to the foreground and are the true leaders of your community.
Yes.
You'll find them.
Well, who was it? Was it William F. Buckley said that I'd rather pull 10 people out of the phone book. Our chances of survival would be picking 10 random people than the politicians that currently run things. So,
Yeah, they're pretty much ruined.
Yeah.
I agree. And I surely hope that people that are listening, have listened, have figured this out on their own, that family's important.
Absolutely.
God's important. Your inner circle of people, good people that you develop, are going to be what's important, and not so much money.
It's going to be based on relationships.
Right, it's going
your
to be
survival.
based on skill and relationships. So I hope you got lots of skills. Hope you've been buying books like I told you.
And I hope you've been building relationships with your neighbors.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
people. So, well,
And a lot of people have. I mean, it's hard for me to even fathom how many homesteading type groups are now have formed.
Yeah.
They're all over the internet. I mean, when I first started doing this, there was pretty much just me in this area and a few scattered. You know, Prepper had a bad name.
Right.
Well, now they advertise it on TV. You should have 90 days worth of food. I wonder why they said that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, it's a blessing that we got in on it early and got the word out.
Yeah.
I don't know who we've reached. I'm sure I have a good feeling within my group who have reached, because they keep coming back. But how many people did we reach that we don't know of? You know, who'd we touch that a light bulb went off in their head? That's why I kept doing this, because none of us are making any money at this.
Right.
We're just kind of getting through and putting it out there.
Sure.
But the more people that we have that are aware, then they can get prepared. And that's where we've been for the past 3 years. Amen.
Amen. Well, Glenn, don't know where we go from here on the next podcast. Forward, yeah.
Forward, that's it.
But it's a good, I think it's a good reset for the year, certainly, to get us to think.
Absolutely. It's a little wake-up call for me, you know, to start pushing again. You know, I don't want to push on people too hard because it's daunting.
Sure it is.
But I'm just telling you, the sun's got a hole in it.
Yeah.
That ain't my fault either. But there is some ramifications to this.
Yeah.
So might want to prepare, just like a storm's coming. You know, what would you do if a storm's coming?
Yeah.
Same thing you did when the snow came.
Sure.
Get prepared.
Spaceweatherlive.com is one of the websites I found when we started talking, and gives some good information.
Very good. There's a bunch of them out there. Look
Yeah.
one up and just keep an eye on it, folks.
Yeah. Well, until we meet again.
All right. I'm prepared for next week. I was going to do a one on bacon here tonight and preserving food, but seems to me a solar flare kind of took over.
Sure. Well, Glenn, thanks as always for being here and being prepared to talk about this very important topic. Until we meet again, we'll see you.
Thank you.
Join us again next week for Sustainable Living with Glenn Boblitz, helping you be prepared and not scared. This podcast drops every Friday anywhere you get your podcast.